Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Thanks for being here. My name is Vienna Ortiz and my goal is to help go-getters work smarter, not harder, and do it with a whole lot of self-compassion. So today's video is all about the 5 steps to a better to-do list. Now, to-do lists seem pretty simple. Just write the thing down and get it done. This is true. However, there are some ways and some tips and some steps that I have for you, and you can develop a system that you can then use moving forward to really get things done efficiently and also effectively. Once you get the system down, it's going to be so much easier for you. It's going to feel like clockwork. It's going to feel so easy for you to just do every time. And so let's jump into it. Now, before we get started, I did want to let you know that I did create a freebie for you guys. It's the 5 steps to a better to-do list freebie, and you can go ahead and click the link below to download it if you want it to kind of be a guide through our video, and if you want to use it in your planner as well, just resize it down and you can use it in your planner. So let's jump into step 1. Okay, step 1 is always to brain dump. When you sit down to really do a to-do list, you want to get everything out of your head and onto paper, because I promise you your brain is not bringing anything to the forefront that is going to need to happen even 4 days from now. So then throughout your day, you will randomly think about the thing you have to do next month, and it's just taking up too much space in your brain. So you want to do a brain dump. Now in my shop, I do have a really cool brain dump organizer printable that you can use if you want to go and get that for my shop. However, brain dumping is really just sticking things onto paper, out of your mind and onto paper, and it's a really great way to organize your thoughts. So from this point, I like to always recommend that you organize your brain dump. And again, my printable has a section where you can organize your brain dump into different categories. And what I mean by that is, let's say a lot of what your brain dumping is planning for a party. You may want one of your categories or one of your to-do lists in general to be about party planning, and the other one about going to the store, like grocery lists and things like that, so that it's not all mixed together. It depends on how your brain works. You could either have one long to-do list, or you can have a bunch of different ones for different categories. So I personally like to organize my brain dump. And so that's what I'm going to do next. And that's still going to be kind of in step 1. So once you have your brain dump and once you have it organized, we get to go to step 2. So step 2 is to prioritize. Now I can do an entire video on prioritizing, and let me know if you want me to do that in the comments below. But to prioritize, I like to say add a deadline or a due date to each of your tasks. This is going to allow you to be able to see how much time you need to get this thing done and realistically where it needs to go in your to-do list. So what you're going to do is now take the time to write down the due date by every task. Now I do have a printable that you can download that's in my shop as well, specifically for organizing your to-do list. This already has a place where you can write down your tasks and then write down your due date. But if you want to make things simple, you can just write down your due date or your deadline next to each of your tasks, and then we're going to start prioritizing them by when they are due. Now this is where you can either create a separate to-do list or for each of your things, or you can create one full-on to-do list. Now what do some different to-do lists actually look like? Like I said, it could be by category, so that way you kind of have different categories for your to-do list. Or you can separate it by monthly, weekly, and daily to-do list as well, which is one of my personal favorites as well. I can do another video on this, but this basically looks like putting your tasks that are due later on a monthly to-do list and the things that are due this week in your weekly to-do list. So that is definitely another way to categorize each of your to-do lists. And after you do this, we can move on to step 3, which is a really fun thing I like to do to really make my to-do list work for me. Now step 3 is a fun little trick that I like to use to really make my to-do list work for me, and that is adding a key to your tasks, which includes things like checking them off when they're done, or putting an indicator that you are working on it, so it's a work in progress, or migrating things over, which we'll talk about in a second, or giving an exclamation mark to it so that you know that it's a priority. These are all things that I like to add to my to-do list, especially when I have a big one, to be able to really look and see what's going on within my to-do list, and I can really work it easier that way to see where things are going, to see when things are getting done. And so I highly, highly recommend you creating your own key that works for you, or adopting mine and using it in your to-do list process. Now step 4 is super simple, and it's literally just adding a verb to your task. Now I've been preaching this since forever because I know that it gets your brain working to be able to do the thing. So So instead of saying grocery shopping, I'm gonna say go grocery shopping. And that little word go, that verb go, is really going to make your brain realize that, hey, this is something that we have to do, and it gets you going. See if it doesn't really just jumpstart you to get that thing done quicker. Okay, so we've made it to step 5, the final step. And this one is super simple, but it's really important, and it's a key to really making sure that you're continuing on with your to-do list throughout the year, the month, whatever it is. And that is migrating your tasks over that are undone or in progress. So let's say you've gone into another month and you're ready to sit down and create a new to-do list. So you're ready to start this entire process over again. The first thing you're going to want to do is really look back and reflect on your old to-do list to see what you didn't do, to see what's in progress, and move it into your next one before you start the brain dump. Now, how is this going to look? You are going to just migrate everything over, and when you're done with your brain dump in this next process, you're going to again add the due dates and change the due dates, because the due dates may change throughout this process, and then fit it back into your to-do list. Now, because this was a more recent to-do and task item, it's probably going to be high up there. So keep that in mind, not to let it get lost, and make sure that you are migrating it over, or it's literally going to get lost in your last to-do list of just things that did get done or didn't get done. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope that these 5 steps help you to kind of just up-level your to-do list and really just start getting things done quicker, easier, more efficiently. And I hope that the freebie really helps you to be able to look at the steps and be able to follow them in a more cohesive format, so that you can really just follow the steps until you get so used to it that you don't need to follow the steps anymore. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the little bell so that you know when my videos are coming out, because I cannot wait to bring you more tips and tricks. And thank you guys for spending this time with me, and I will see you in my next video. You have to look back and reflect on your old